Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining us on another exciting episode.
Welcome to the Will and Dave Show.
So, welcome to the table, everybody. Thanks again for tuning into the Will and Dave Show. Uh, Tonight, we don't have any content warnings, thankfully, as we're going to keep things pretty sweet and simple today. But we have a fantastic guest with us tonight. We have Sam Mitchell of Autism Rocks and Rolls, which is another podcast, and we're going to have him on with us tonight. But first, let's quickly go over our sponsors before we jump into that.
Hold on, Will. Hold on.
What?
You're on the show. I'm on the show. Sam's going to be on the show. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that one of his characteristics, a lot like ours, is no filter.
Yeah?
You don't think we should have had a content advisor that you may or may not let slip with something that you probably shouldn't?
I might curse. Maybe.
Okay, so maybe we
We're
should
not
revise
planning
that
on it.
content advisory and say,
Okay. Hide
maybe
your
we might say
virgins.
something.
I might say something that the algorithm won't like. I'm going to adjust my camera as well while you do the first sponsor here.
Okay, so for the first sponsor, of course, as always, is Stitched by Susan, because Stitched by Susan is like the bomb. Stitched by Susan, I'm just going to hide you. Not that I don't like you, but I don't like you because you're moving your camera.
It's done.
The first is Stitched by Susan, and that's my wife. And I have to like her, not only because she's really cool and beautiful and awesome, except because she makes amazing quilts.
And you're contractually obligated.
Yeah, I am contractually obligated for better or worse, richer or poorer. And you will? Who would you like to pick of the remaining two?
Oh, well, I would love to highlight Kelly and Dottie Hardy, who, through their generous donation, funded this lovely microphone you see before you, so I can hide my face. So yeah, they've been longtime both emotional and financial sponsors of the show, and so we're very appreciative to them and their contributions and support.
And last but not least, Rafter G Land and Cattle Company for just hanging with us and being cool with us, because not a lot of people are cool with us or cool like us, which is even more important. So later on the show, we'll talk a little bit more about other opportunities for sponsorship. But without further ado, we're going to bring in Sam Mitchell into the show. Hey, Sam, how's it going, my man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. I hope you guys are doing good today as well. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we forgot to introduce his mother as well. She's here, and we are forgetful people.
So I have an excuse because I'm
Please.
old. What's your excuse for forgetting, Will? See, I'm allowed to forget because I'm old.
I don't know if allowed is quite the right word. You get away with it.
Okay, so welcome to the show, Gina. So a few weeks ago, I got this message on Facebook that said, "Hey, are you interested in having me on your show?" And I didn't recognize the name. There's this guy by the name of Sam Mitchell. And I'm like, who's Sam Mitchell? So I YouTube and I Google and I see who is Sam Mitchell. And I can't find much. I'm like, and all of a sudden, I realized I spelled your name wrong. That's why I couldn't find anything. Like, it takes an old man to mess up Sam Mitchell, except with one L instead of two. You know, it happens. And so I said, sure, we'd love to have you on the show. I'm not sure how the YouTube and Facebook algorithms match us up, but we're very happy that they did, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So I have a question for you, Sam.
Okay.
So I'm old. I'm forgetful, as you saw. And I know nothing about wrestling. I know a little bit about rock and roll. And I know even less than nothing about autism. And so everything that I learned as I've been researching since you asked to be on the show. So I'm wondering if you would educate us about, let's begin with autism, as that's a serious topic this evening. And every once in a while you can throw in a monkey wrench with wrestling. That'll confound us.
Well, to ask a more specific question. Oh, did I lag out there? Or?
No, I think he's lagging out a little bit.
Okay.
Are you able to hear us, Sam?
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, good. So we're going to let
Uh,
you just own the show for a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to start by just telling
So,
us, about yourself.
okay, sure. I can
Start
do
from the
that.
beginning.
So, I'm Sam Mitchell. I run a podcast called Autism Rocks Rolls, and it's about autism, how we cope with daily struggles. And that's basically my life. I started podcasting a little over 2 years ago in October 2019. I'm a senior at our high school, and I'm from Indiana, and I like dogs.
That's a good thing to
Love
like.
dogs.
And wrestling.
And pit bulls.
And
Ooh,
wrestling.
And wrestling.
And not hockey.
Not hockey. I'm sorry, buddy.
It,
Oh,
it's okay to
man.
not like hockey. It's very okay to not. As a Canadian, it's okay to not like hockey.
Yes, sir.
See, there we go. Yeah.
You have one convert, Sam. So what's it like as a kid in high school with autism?
Okay. So
That's a broad question,
I
but
would,
I'm going to give it to you.
yeah, that's fine. So what is it like? That is a great question, actually. I must give you that. Well, to me, it is just living life in a different way than some other seniors slash freshmen slash sophomores slash juniors and slash the teachers. It's living differently and living my way.
And can I say something about that?
Absolutely, please do.
Just as his mom, like when he says he's living differently, that's kind of how we view autism, and that's is my opinion. And I've never tried to push my opinion on Sam, but we've always treated Sam like Sam, and
Mhm.
autism is just a very small piece of him. And
Right.
I,
It
I
it
mean,
doesn't define him.
no, 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 absolutely not. But
Yeah.
if he wants it to define him, then he can. But
Hmm.
he doesn't have. And so he has never been ashamed, and I've never I've never been ashamed of him, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's simple brain wiring. That is what autism is. When he was in my womb, his brain and the brain wiring developed in a particular way, just like my brain developed a particular way, and his just happened to fit the definition of autism. And
Hmm.
so he he has autism, but it's just how his brain is wired. I
Hmm.
know on the screen, I will say this on whenever you guys were doing the questions, I did notice that it said autism is treatable. It
Mm.
doesn't need
Doesn't
to be
need
treated.
treatment. I was
There's
wondering if
nothing
you were going to
really,
bring that up.
yeah, nothing. He doesn't need to be treated.
Mm.
He doesn't need to be fixed. He's not broken.
I'm
Nothing
good, man.
nothing's wrong with Sam. Does Sam have challenges? Absolutely. Like we have had very hard days in our lives, but everybody does. I
Yeah. So
don't
like.
know if that doesn't, so that's kind of when he said, I'm just living life a different way.
Hmm.
I think that's really what it is. It's just, you live your life away because of your brain wiring. You live your
Hmm.
life away because of your brain wiring. I do. And, we don't even use the word disability in our house
Right.
because dis means can't. And there are things that Sam can't do, but there's a lot of things that I can't
Matt
do.
is an example.
Yeah, math is,
I'm
but
right there
just
with you, buddy.
if we
So
get
it's like,
technical about it, everybody has we're all disabled. Sam's not
yeah,
disabled.
I was just gonna say, like, I equate it less to being a disability and more to just a descriptor, almost like a person is tall, or a person has a certain hair color, or a person is strong or weak, or has bad knees. It doesn't define them in their entirety. It's just one little facet of who they are, and it's not a
Yeah,
negative. It is just a
absolutely.
thing.
Right. It's not a negative at all. Now, autism is a spectrum. And
Hmm.
so, Sam is very high on the spectrum. He has Asperger's.
Hmm.
But, the people that are lower functioning, parents might have a different opinion because they really are, I don't want to say disabled, but they really, don't even know how to say it. They really can't do a lot of things because of the condition of autism.
Right.
But
The challenges are greater. It's just
the
a harsher
challenges are greater.
scaling.
There's things that Sam can do because he has autism. So
Mm-hmm.
autism is also an ability. He interviewed his friend, he's become our friend, Armani Williams, who is the first NASCAR driver to openly say that he's autistic. And Sam was able to have him on his show.
That's
And
fantastic.
it was amazing. But when we were talking to Armani, Armani said, I am a race car driver because I have autism. When he gets in the car and he straps in with his seatbelt, he is 100% hyper super focused
On the road, there's nothing else going on.
and that's what autistic people do. And so had he not had if he didn't have the brain wiring that he had, he doesn't feel like that he would be so successful with driving. So it all is perception and all how you look at it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say, I'm listening to this, and I have a little bit of an argument, of a beef, because I'm old and I'm not treatable either. There's no treatment for that disease. And there are lots of people who call me unable or disabled, and one of them's on the other side of the picture.
What? I would never.
So I'm a little bit jealous of you, Sam.
We always say, like the word normal.
It's
Right.
not even in the dictionary.
Yeah, I always told Sam, I'm not really sure what normal is,
That-
but
'cause
I'm
you're
pretty
too-
sure I'm not.
You're too much of a goofball to be normal. I think you're a bit wacko sometimes.
Well, I've been a goofball my whole life. Sam
Where did you
will-
get that from, I wonder?
Sam will tell you, but you ask my students, and sometimes I'll do things in class, and they don't even flinch anymore. Like they'll get a new student come in, and I'll do something, and they're just like looking around the room, and the kids are like, "That's what she does. Like you just have to, you're just gonna have to get used to it."
Well, I love it.
Oh, yeah, sometimes she tried to do the shoot dance in class.
Yeah, I tried to do the dances, and I'm getting old too. So,
And what happened?
I hurt my back whenever I was doing this. I literally
I love
hurt
it.
my back, and I now almost go to the chiropractor because my back hurts so bad.
Oh, geez.
That is so awesome.
It's like, yeah, as you say, normal is a terrible descriptor. I think normal is just a narrow box that kind of shifts with the time in society, and we use it too easily, I think. Because I don't think most of us exist within that box.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
the word normal is fair. I'm like, who gets to decide that?
Exactly. Exactly.
Nobody should be able to decide that. I mean, nobody has that role. I
Mhm.
mean, that's just not a thing. So,
Yeah, even the presidents get to determine that. And
especially the president. Oh, I should have said that. Sorry.
No,
How,
this is the right show to say that on,
I was
Gina.
just say, how
Absolutely.
dare you get political on this show? We don't touch politics with a 10-foot pole.
no president, conservative or liberal.
There you go. Way to cover your butt there, Sam. Way to make the algorithm happy.
Whoa!
It's one thing in reading this afternoon, I was doing a little bit of research for the quiz thing, and the one line that stuck out to me, and I forget who said it. They said, if you have met, how'd it go? If you have met a person with autism, the only thing that you can say is you have met a person with autism. There's no characteristic, there's no normal, there's no anything. And I think that you can apply that to every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
If you meet a Will, you've met a Will. If you've met a Dave, you've met a Dave. There's no, we're all people.
Yep, we're all human beings.
Yeah,
Except for me, I'm a lizard person, according to Alex Jones.
a few of us are older and more forgetful, right, Sam?
Yeah.
You also were into wrestling, Sam.
Yes, sir.
And I was on the phone with William this morning, and I said, Will, you need to find something about wrestling, because I said, I am so ignorant that it hurts.
I I want to be clear here. He is so ignorant that he sent me down looking at wrestling as the like Olympic sport, not professional wrestling as the entertainment.
Buddy.
So I was looking up the wrong information. As it so
I should have
happens,
just said that was my fault. I should have said professional wrestling.
no, that's just it. I googled professional wrestling verbatim, and I got WWF, The Rock, all that good stuff. That was the
Okay.
stuff I needed in the first place. And I do actually know a little bit about that because I am a fan of Dwayne Johnson or The Rock, and I do smell what The Rock is cooking.
So
What's he cooking?
I'm going to call BS on that because I could send you a screenshot of what I sent him, and it says pro wrestling in the text.
Yeah, but when we
He
were
read
when
it
we were talking
wrong.
a few days ago,
I
I
am
was like,
innocent.
I was talking, does he mean WWF or does he mean like wrestling, like the sport wrestling or the entertainment wrestling? And you were like, well, I'm pretty sure it's the sport.
It is a sport. Isn't it a sport, Sam?
It's a sport,
Thank you.
but it is a sport.
Oh,
I mean, it is. It is as well. But I mean, like the
Arm locks and stuff.
yeah, I guess.
I can't think of the word I'm
You
looking
all
for.
are
Like
like-
the
Kind of embarrassed because you well, not embarrassed, but you're saying you don't know a lot about wrestling.
Right.
But I'm embarrassed because of how much I know. about
Because of me.
wrestling. So yeah,
So
definitely
who-
knows more than me, but not much.
So I know in hockey there is Wayne Gretzky or Bobby Orr. These are the big names. Who is the greatest of all time in wrestling?
Well, it's about favorite. I'll get into that, but the greatest I know, I think, is the Undertaker.
Okay.
Mm,
And why is that? I've heard that name, so why is that?
He's immoral. He's classic. He was the right timing for it, and he's wrestled for since 1990. He retired last year.
How
that's
old is he?
a long haul.
2020, whatever 2020 minus 1990 is.
How old is he?
Yeah.
I would say he's at. We looked it up the other day because we were curious. He's like in his mid 50s. I want to say.
Wow.
So yeah.
So I could
That's
be a
some-
wrestler, is what you're saying?
Don't get your hopes up, Dave.
Right. I mean, I think something off the top rope.
Well,
See-
I will say with wrestling, from a parent standpoint, Sam started getting into, and he was diagnosed with autism when he was 4.
Okay.
So we knew that he was, and then we kind of, being a teacher, I had some kids in my class with autism, so I wasn't surprised when we got the official diagnosis because of some of the behaviors he was having or doing, but I completely lost my train of thought. It's gone.
Again, another proof of being old.
Yeah, what was I
William
saying?
loves you right now, Sam, I tell you.
Oh, she. Oh, I picked her 20.
Hero.
What was I? Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I remember.
Okay.
I know what I was gonna say.
You got
So,
it, you got it.
anyway, whenever he was little, he got into, I knew like people that were on the autism spectrum. I knew that they could like really get into something and then know everything about it, whether it be dinosaurs or whether it be like baseball. He has a good friend who knows what is it that
All the
they-
World Series.
he can tell you anything about the World Series, anything.
Wow.
Like every World
And how it
Series
ended.
and how it ended. And so he has autism. But when Sam started liking wrestling, my husband and I were like, well, that's, he'll watch it for a while, but I mean, he's 18 and he's into it, even more. But he can, you want to show him what you can do with the WrestleManias?
Oh yeah, sure.
So Sam has this Sam has this skill where I don't know which way you need to go. Sam has this skill where there are 36 WrestleManias, and if you tell him a number between 1 and 36, he can tell you every single thing about that match.
Okay, I'm going to go first. WrestleMania 12.
Okay. Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, an Iron Man match for the wrestling belt. Happened was they went overtime. They decided to restart the match. Shawn hit with a sweet chin music, which is a super kick or a side kick. 1, 2, 3. Got a new champion. Yay.
Your turn, Will.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with 27.
27. Okay. John Cena versus The Miz for the WWE Championship. Rock decided to be an idiot and cost John Cena the match, and Miz won when no one thought he would.
4.
Okay. Randy Savage versus Ted DiBiase. There was a tournament for the wrestling belt, which was the first ever, and Hulk Hogan interfered and hit Ted DiBiase in the back with a chair, and then ran him with the flying elbow drop. 1, 2, 3, new champion. Yay.
Okay, so I'm coming back on the screen because I have a question for you. So one of the warnings or the recommendations in my research this afternoon is never to compare a person with autism to the movie Rain Man. But when you do something like that, it's pretty freaking scary.
What else can I do?
Impressive is the word I would use.
That's amazing.
I am
So
impressed.
literally, if you mix up the 36, he can.
Hopefully, before 17.
Well, and he can still do. Can you still do the ABC? He used to be able to say the ABC backwards as quick as he could say it forwards. I don't know if he can still do that.
I can try.
Okay, I'm putting you on. Let's see you try it.
ZYXVW VUTSRQPONNLKJIHGFEDCBA.
Okay, I'm gonna show you my master skill as soon as I get my fat butt on the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh,
9,
wow.
Oh, wow.
Mine.
Bravo.
I get the double digits. I get lost, man. I would be embarrassed if it wasn't true. I'm walking around the house this morning. I'm complaining about, I was talking with Will and we were discussing the show. And in the middle of the conversation, I began to talk about our other son, whose name is Alex. Only I never changed names. I kept calling Alex Will. And I'm just ripping him. How can you do this? You're not supposed to be able to do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm calling him
My
Will.
grandma uses her grandson's names all the time, so I'm totally used to it. She's like, "Oh, no, Sam, I'm sorry." Isn't she, Mom?
Hey, kid. It works every time.
Hey, kid, that's right. That's
Hey,
me.
older kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're also into rock and roll music.
Yep.
Good choice.
Yes,
Good
sir.
choice.
Who's your favorite band?
Let's go,
It's
let's
a
go top
tie.
three.
I have
so
to
that
say
you can-
AC/DC and Nickelback. Those are the top two.
Nickelback. I'm surprised to hear that one in the mix.
A Canadian classic.
That's right.
Thank you.
Hey, look who tuned in, Will.
Mr.
Mr. Van
number one
Hookel.
fan Tim.
He's our number one fan.
See-
I get worried with him every now and then because I'm afraid it's going to turn into a Stephen King movie, and he's going to lock us up in his basement and make us produce shows for him. You know.
Now, see, I have this conversation with my wife every now and then. I don't have any problem with people loving Nickelback, even though I don't necessarily love Nickelback, because they're like, people complain that Nickelback is like, what's the word I'm looking for? That they're quote unquote basic. And I don't have a problem with that. I treat it like comfort food. Music doesn't have to be complex to be enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. Music is music, man. That's how I always say.
Exactly.
Music's music.
You like what you like. And Nickelback is really easy to like.
We have a really good family friend. Actually, is her episode out now?
Which one?
Megan's.
Yeah.
So the last episode he just did, we have a really good family friend, and she has such a different response to Nickelback. Like when Sam says that he loves Nickelback, she'll be like, "You need not listen to that. That's trash. Stop listening to that." She does not hold back. So
I just make a face out of that. We with her we get along well, but we think we're right all the time.
yeah,
I was equated it to like
she's
I always
really
equated
good.
it to like a junk food. You know, you might think that junk food is trash, but we almost all eat it, and we almost all enjoy it regardless.
Yeah.
So even if you don't like Nickelback, you have to admit that people must like it for a reason. There's a reason they're so popular.
It's
Sam,
basic, man. It is basic,
That's a
man.
good way to describe it. Yeah.
Can't
Sam,
deny
but-
it.
I just
Basic
want to
ain't
say
bad.
this. I believe that he just called Nickelback junk food. To your face. I'm pretty
Hey,
sure.
Dad, Did you not go to
Guy-
Chick-fil-A just recently?
on that side of the screen called Nickelback
Yeah.
junk food.
And I like junk food. Even if I don't love Nickelback, I like junk food.
Kung Fu Nickelback, same thing. Who loves it, right?
William, you are the biggest ass kisser in the world.
So full of crap, my eyes are brown.
They're not. They're blue, aren't they?
Mine are hazel, so they might be.
There you go.
I have
I'm a
really
good-
brown.
I'm a good company. I'm Hazel too.
Oh, that's why you're full of crap in the family.
Yes, sir. So we're moving down the list of things you're into, and the other one you're into Taekwondo.
Yep.
Ooh.
And not only that, except your mother is almost a black belt in.
Krav Maga, self-defense fighting.
Ooh, Krav Maga is good.
So is that where if somebody hits you, you can hit them back harder? Is that kind of self-defense?
Yes.
Yep. Except we're not going to use it we're not going to use it to suplex you or anything. We're not going to be the first to make a punch.
Well, my trainer said, you should never use any kind of martial art unless you really are like fighting for your life, or if I were fighting for Sam's life.
Right.
That's the only time that I would use it. But yeah, I got to where I was, we were doing some jujitsu. We were doing all kinds of, because Krav Maga kind of steals from all of the other martial arts and brings it together. But yeah, I was getting to where I could, I don't know if I can now because I have a messed up knee and I'm older. But as far as when I was in class, I was getting to where I could take down like 250-pound men just because I learned the technique and I was able to do it. So,
William, you and I are both safe.
Oh, no,
That's a lie,
you're not. She'll
actually.
use it on her own son.
Yeah.
She will use it on her own son. I asked, like, show me a move. That's probably the scariest thing I've seen in my life.
So you see, if you notice, I left all that until the end after the co-host on the other side over there, after he called your favorite move it junk food. See, he didn't know that you could beat the crap out of him.
There's lots of people that can beat the crap out of me. I have the
There's
silhouette
a lot
and
of people
temperament of a
too.
teddy bear.
I'll admit it, man.
Sam's actually almost a second-degree black belt, but
Oh wow.
just before he got it, he had
I
done
got
it-
tired of it. I needed something new in my
Yeah.
life.
He had
Put
done
it
it
that
for
way.
5 or 6 years. We both did, and we both.
Mhm.
I hurt my knee, and then he just was like, I gotta stop because he had just done it for so long. So he almost got to a second degree.
So
Nice.
what is it about sports?
Now I just use it with Tekken, which is a video game. I do my Tekken training now.
There you go. So what got you into podcasting?
Okay. So in our area, there's a hospital, a big hospital. It's called Riley Hospital, and our school had like the first annual dance marathon, which is like where you dance and there's a lot of activities. There's some sumo suits where I actually won. I guess my Taekwondo train came in there. But anyway, that's beside the point. I saw people carrying mics and cameras, like some of my classmates. I thought, well, what are they doing? So then I asked them, the person who ran it, he said, okay, we'll get you in. Just join next year. There's a lot of projects in the works. So I was like, okay, join next year. That's where I found the podcast. And we have our own school's podcast called Thundercast. So I decided eventually that, I want to do something different than the Thundercast. I still want to do it, granted. I don't want to be like, ew, screw Thundercast. No. I want to be like, let's do something new. Let's make a homemade podcast. So that's when I decided where Autism Rocks Rolls came in. And this over here, the English teacher side of her came in where she said, what do you want the purpose to be? And I thought, it's going to be travels initially, but don't know why. I flipped it for some reason. Decided to make it about autism. And now, since then, my goal is to get the stigma off of autism.
It's a very lofty goal.
That's
Oop. We've had a slight accident. Cut the
Okay,
cameras.
so we're just going to kick William out of the show for a minute or two.
We can never fall in the toilet.
I think he got mad at his camera. Whoop. That's not the
Let's hope he's not in the bathroom.
I just hope he's okay. Now you don't have any audio.
I muted it so you don't hear me bumping my desk.
There we go. I
I
muted
think
myself.
I think we're safe though. I've recovered.
Oh, the
There's
your
joys of
blooper.
live TV. There's no editing live. This will all be cut
Yeah.
out of the finished thing that goes on YouTube.
Yeah, there goes my Lego on my desk, but the camera's back in place. We're safe.
You got a Lego. What the heck? You got a Lego for,
Oh
man?
yeah, no, dude.
You're
There's
back
no
on.
way I'm having a computer desk without my Millennium Falcon
Oh, yeah.
and my little Kylo Ren.
Oh, I'm kidding.
I'm just kidding. Wow.
There's no way I'm not having them on my desk.
Where's William?
fun, camera. You'll
Where's
find it
William?
eventually, David. Don't worry. I believe in you.
There he is. Well,
There
I
he
have your
is.
shoulder.
Partially.
My shoulder.
You're partially there.
His shoulder made his
Timing is
cameo.
impeccable.
Man, we're trying to do this really high-class, high-end show, Will.
And I'm showing off my Lego collection and my desk apparently, and my floor, and my shoulder.
So, Sam, you got into the school podcast. That's where the show went to hell in a handbag there for a second. So,
Yeah.
Well, what he was saying was, when he was trying to decide what his topic was going to be, it was going to be about traveling because he really likes to travel.
right.
And but I said, and that was fine. He could have done that. But then when we got to talking, I was like, well, you got to figure out what your purpose is. Are you trying to entertain people? Are you trying to educate people? What are you doing? And then, and I said, what are you passionate about? Like, what do you really, what's some things that you really want to talk about? And then it just kind of came up with, well, I mean, I live with autism every day. Like we do that, like as a family, like, he lives it and then we help him. So that's kind of where it came from. And it got much bigger. It has gotten much bigger than we ever
Anticipated.
dreamed it would. I never thought.
Yeah,
that
I
it
thought it
would.
was going to be first like a few hits or a few downs. Like, okay, cool. Pat a little pat on the back. And
Mhm.
And now you've
Nah,
what are you
that
at?
did happen.
4020 now, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's really
He's
impressive.
He's had, besides the NASCAR driver, I don't know
I'll
if you,
tell him.
oh yeah, go ahead.
I've had some guests I've had. We'll get into which is Simon Majumdar. He is the first. He's not the first, but he's an Iron Chef judge who was on like Cutthroat Kitchen, Iron Chef America. He's judged on some shows, but Guys Grocery Games, yeah. But he plays for Autistic Cherries, and he has a nephew, not a nephew, nephew, yeah, who has autism, and he's very supportive of it. I've had Mandy Harvey, who was the fourth runner-up on America's Got Talent in the 2017 season, who was deaf, and I've also had James Durbin, who is the fourth runner-up on American Idol in the 2011 season. He has autism, but also Tourette's syndrome. And the biggest one, Temple Grandin, who is the biggest autistic advocate in the world, who has changed the agriculture world in many ways I can't describe. My Taekwondo instructors who I've had, and Peter Lance, who is a video game developer who also has autism.
Right. That's genuinely fantastic that you managed to gather that many people together and talk about how you guys function on a day-to-day basis. As you say, that destigmatizes it really effectively, just having conversations about it, making it more easily accessible knowledge to the general public, like myself, who doesn't know daily squat.
That's the biggest story I
Well,
have.
I think too.
Mhm.
I think that whenever he has these guests on there that have these challenges, but then they're so successful. I just think that message, the destigmatizing autism becomes easier to see. Well, they have rules, but he drives it.
Change the agriculture world.
Brandon, I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her or not, but I couldn't believe she called me back. She called me on my cell phone.
You want to tell them that story?
Passed out because I could not believe it. But she wanted to come on and, like educate people too, like Sam. So, but she completely changed the whole cattle agricultural industry.
Yeah, she
because
has
of
a
her-
lot of things for cows.
Yeah, and she's it's you'll have to Google her. Temple Grandin she's phenomenal.
I will. It's one of those things where maybe the fact of autism sort of opens windows.
It
You
does.
meet one person, it's a feature about your life. It's not a disability, as you said. It's something that you live with. And it's become a positive force, not a negative force. And I think that's incredible. That
And it-
I think that it is becoming a positive force, but I think that we still have a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that people like Sam and that has his podcast, in the whole scope of the whole world, it's just one tiny dot. But if everybody does those things, then Sam's changing the world.
Mhm.
I'm
Sam's
doing it,
changing
man.
the world like Armani Williams is when he gets in that NASCAR.
Mhm.
That's I just feel like it's so they're all on the same mission. They all
Mhm.
have the same mission. Like, yes, I have autism, but look at what I can do. Like,
Yeah,
I can
like-
write.
yeah,
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 having
you're
that representation of people who have really gone above and beyond and made major strides in whatever their chosen field is. That representation is a great indicator to both people like myself who just don't know very much about autism, but also I imagine that it's also incredibly encouraging to younger people who have autism to be able to look at those people, and now you've given them another way to connect with those stories and those people's lives, to see them and to be able to look up to them and to be encouraged by that. And I think that has a lot of value.
absolutely.
So if I could ask one question, Sam, and I mean this educationally.
Yeah, it's fine.
If you had the microphone to the whole world and you could say anything to anybody anywhere, what would it be? And what would it be about? Would it be about autism? Would it be about wrestling? Would it be about music? And I'm serious. I mean, maybe your goal is not to change the world for autism. Maybe
Man, if you had a mic in the world,
Yeah.
the one thing I'd probably say is be nice. Honestly, be nice, don't be stupid. That's
Don't be
what
stupid, stupid.
Sam, you are
Exactly.
so much my friend right now.
Don't be stupid. I mean, I can give you a lot worse than that, though. Believe me.
Well, I just love that he said be kind. I mean, that is like,
Mm.
as an educator and as a
I said be
mother,
nice. That's a good thing.
or be nice, be kind. That is just that is like my whole life motto. Sam and I have talked a lot. If everybody would just be nice to each other, do you know how much this world would change? If
A little bit of
everybody-
kindness is the bedrock of social change.
Oh yeah, I feel like kindness sometimes is going away these days.
Yeah, unfortunately.
See, you.
Especially-
I like the stupid part. I used to have a T-shirt. And William might remember this.
Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large numbers.
You got it.
Why do I remember that? I don't know, but I do.
So I like the "don't be stupid" part. That would be my takeaway. I'm just really impressed with you, Sam, with just your voice, taking your voice and saying, "I'm going to do something with it."
Thank you. And something else I did recently. We can talk about it a little if you want to. Is I did a TED talk.
Yes, I
Oh,
wanted to hear
right.
about that.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's not available yet.
It's not available, so don't worry about
Okay.
that.
Okay.
We'll be here in a few months. But yeah, he did
I did a TED talk
fantastic job.
with a lot of other people,
That's awesome.
a lot of 8th graders.
Yeah, they called it's out of Bloomington, Indiana.
Mhm.
And they have a TEDx there. And so yeah, he did that. It was a youth summit, and they had never done it with middle school kids and middle school and
Mm.
high school both. And they just brought kids together, and they did a phenomenal job. And it was virtual. It was the first virtual TEDx that they had done in this area ever.
Right.
And being fantastic. So it was good.
Well, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, I can't wait. Again, I will
I
add
did
that
it
on.
over autism, as you can figure, and why we need structure in our life.
Hmm.
Okay,
Well,
I just lost all respect for you right there.
What?
I like my
Needing structure
breakfast
in your
at
life?
11 o'clock.
Oh my god. That could technically be structure too. Structure can be
Yeah,
whatever you need it to
that
be.
is very structured. Setting alarms is structure. Eating breakfast every morning is part of structure. The bathroom's part of structure, I'll tell you that. What it is.
Okay, you're working your way
Unfortunately,
back into my graces, Sam, by saying I can have a loose structure. I'm happy now.
Oh, bathroom structure. You gotta let it go at some point.
Well,
So,
let
Sam,
us.
we really want to have you back on the show.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
really enjoyed having you here. It's been educational for me about wrestling, about rock and roll, even though our tastes are very similar. I'm a little more in the 80s and you're a little more on the 70s bands, it sounds like, but that's okay. I can
Yeah.
forgive you.
And the junk food.
And well, that's
The junk
where
food.
you and William are connecting. I'm still
Yeah, boy.
I like celery and those sorts of things. So I'm gonna lose you on the junk food. I'm just surprised that William compared your favorite movie to junk food, and you didn't.
I think that's a compliment. I understand completely.
Thank you. He understands what I meant. He's listening to what I mean, not to what I say.
So yeah, so we just want to really thank you for coming on this show and giving us a larger audience, because your audience is much larger than ours, and we appreciate that.
Yes.
What
I'm just
what Dave meant to say
glad-
was more
I'm glad
important.
I got this weekend.
Yeah, we'll put all your stuff all over. He's on every really social media platform.
Yep.
I think we've got him on, and his podcast can be found on any podcasting platform. And
Right.
then his website, autismrocksandrolls.com, is really where people need to go, because that's where his merchandise is.
Right.
That's where his press is. That's where his episodes are. Everything's there. So that's a good kind of starting place.
Awesome.
And for me, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on and providing a little more context and understanding for me.
Yeah. Of course, man.
You're welcome.
And if you guys want me back, just give me a holler. I'll be around.
Let us know. You have our contact info now. Let us know when that TED Talk is released, because we'll absolutely plug that on every social media we have, because I would love for more people to see that.
And our 11 followers will be sure to know.
You know what? When it comes out, maybe we'll be up to 15.
Maybe Tim will
I'll
tell
make
his
sure you
sister.
get more followers. I'll make sure of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll be
Have a blast.
following Autism Rocks and Rolls. We'll be y'all listed on the website this afternoon or in the morning. And I think this is amazing. And again, I applaud you for wanting more peace and kindness in the world, because I think that, except for Will and I want more peace and kindness. I want to argue with Will, but the rest of the people I want to be kind. So
Everyone else will be nice too.
So thank you all for coming on. We sure appreciate it. Have yourself an awesome evening, and thank you for staying up late with us, because it's like 11 o'clock there now, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
don't
pretty
worry
late
about
now.
it. Stay up late all the time. Saturday nights.
We're good.
No, I'm feeling for your mom, because she's old like me. Sorry, Sam. I'm not sorry for you.
Oh, I think
This
that's
is about me
like-
saying rude things, Dave.
No,
What's
before
this
you
about
hang
me
up,
being rude?
Yes.
because I want you to guess how old I am.
29.
Bingo, you got it. Conversation's over.
Way to kiss ass over there, Will. You did it again.
Said it with a
No,
straight
that's
face,
again
baby.
totally wrong. I'm not 60, ass.
I was going to say 39. I wasn't going to.
89.
Oh, jeez. We're all over the spectrum at this point.
A student
Woo.
guessed me. I just had a birthday,
Okay.
so I just had a student guess me at 60, and I was like, "Well, you fail. You fail."
You're not graduating, boy.
Let's talk about your since we're having kind of fun. Can we talk about your animal aggression? How you like to squeeze dogs' faces?
Well, first of all, I'm 45, so thank you for saying that I was 39. But I also call cute aggression. I don't know if you've heard it before, but it's
No.
where you squeeze animals really hard, not kill
Hmm.
them, but just
Squeeze their faces because you love them so
because
much.
they're so cute.
Right.
And
They're so squishy and adorable.
yeah, Sam just thinks that's hilarious, so he brings it up all the time. So,
I think it's funny that there's a name for it.
Well, I can tell you, I used to do that to my kids. That's why William is going to therapy 4 times a week.
not
Okay, well,
arguing.
thank you guys very much for coming on. We're
Of
going to hang up
course,
on
thank
you now,
you.
but
Woo.
Have a good night,
it's been
guys.
awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Be
Bye.
excited.
See you later.
Ooh, double vision.
Oh, that's never a good thing.
One of you is enough. I don't need two.
Hey,
There we
Will,
go. That's better.
that was
So
absolutely
enjoyable.
fantastic and amazing.
Mhm.
I'm just amazed. I sit there and you look at a kid who's gone through life. There are two ways of looking at that.
Mhm.
You can look at it as, it's hard, it's miserable, I got to live through life with autism, or you can say, I don't have autism. I'm a kid
Who
who has
doesn't
autism.
have it?
and-
It's just that autism doesn't define him.
yeah, I have a nose, he has autism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has a nose too, but yeah.
Shut up.
I think amongst all the other amazingly positive takeaways from that whole conversation with them, I want to re-emphasize his "be nice" comment. That is such a cornerstone of what the world needs right now.
Yeah.
And also, we could not have asked for a more positive interaction and experience with our first guests that we don't know. Like, they're the first people we've had on the show that we don't personally know, and for it to be such an incredibly positive and fun interaction, I think is setting the bar real high for future guests, and also fills me with confidence going forward as well.
Well, it makes me realize how freakishly old I am.
I know. Sucks, doesn't it?
So, Will, I promised we would do one more of our sponsorship opportunities before the end of the show.
Yes.
Oh,
Now you
hey,
get
look,
two of
there's
me.
two of you.
Well, hello. So this isn't really a sponsorship, but buymeacoffee.com/the Will and Dave Show if you'd like to support the podcast monetarily with a small one-time donation of, I believe it ranges anywhere from like $3 to $5. The same as buying us a coffee, except we will probably try to spend it on fancy cameras instead. Or mugs. That's a quick little teaser of the merch ideas we're toying with right now.
We're talking about merch because
Talking
you
about
two can
merch.
be as cool as this old man having a coffee with my ugly silhouette on one side
Maybe some of those donations will go to a better ad campaign too.
and William's ugly mug on the other side.
You get 3 ugly mugs for the price of 1.
Oh, snap.
Come on.
Good one, Will.
Salesman Will here.
There you go. 3 ugly mugs. I never thought of that, Will. You get that quickness from your mother.
That'll go on the website, when the Will and Dave Show mug. 3 ugly mugs for the price of 1.
Yeah.
That'll be on the website. Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to all of you who tune in every week. It's been reassuring for Will and I. I look at the listens on the podcast, and we're up about 1 a day are downloading our podcast, and I'm thinking that's like our average is more than that. It's 8 downloads a week, and I'm like, who wants to listen to us? And we really want to
That's
say
the thing,
thank you
like,
for that.
I've been reading a whole bunch of memes recently with this whole second wave of lockdowns being like, COVID lockdown's really rough, but at least you didn't start a podcast. And going into this, my biggest fear with doing the podcast wasn't necessarily, are we going to do well or is it going to be awkward or whatever, but it was that when we have that initial launch, obviously friends and family are supportive by nature, and so they would check it out. But then, we'd get like that burst of views and then everyone would just stop caring. But it hasn't happened. People are tuning back in regularly. And that is the most fantastic feeling for us, for me creating it, is that we're creating something that's good enough that people are coming back to watch it and to check it out more than once. Return viewership is very meaningful, especially from friends and family who have put up with our crap for plenty long enough.
And your audio is really laggy, and so you know what? I think that is an awesome opportunity
to end the
wish
show.
Everybody a good night. So, on behalf of William and I, because he's all laggy, I'm going to wait for his tagline, and we're going to hang up on you guys.
Stay safe and don't die.